Hello everyone and welcome back to Gentle Yoga. I'm Debbie Nolan with Henrico Recreation and Parks, and I'm so happy you've joined us today for this session of Gentle Yoga. Gentle Yoga itself is really a wonderful form of yoga for everybody and every type of body. So today when you're practicing, just remember, we're always our own worst enemy. So, meaning we can critique ourselves terribly. But here I want you to be very, very, very positive, because gentle yoga encourages us to explore and learn more about ourselves and learn ways to be very positive. So today, as we move through our practice, let your intention be to find something positive in each of the poses that we do that not only works for you on the mat today, but also you can take it off the mat into your life. And maybe it's the breathing, because when we get upset, we tend to breathe faster. So in yoga, we learn in the breath lies the emotions. So we will flow through that today. First, find yourself a really nice, quieter room within the house. Maybe it's a room with a door so that you can shut the threshold, leave outside the door things that happened earlier today in the past, or things that might happen in the future. Let's leave that outside the door too. So once you're in that room, you may want to have a yoga mat. If you don't have a yoga mat, you might want to have a beach towel or some type of long towel to lay down. And perhaps if you have carpet, you just have a nice bath towel that you can lay down to put your face on, because sometimes carpet can be itchy. So you have those two items. You may want a yoga block. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use a nice sturdy book about 2 inches thick, maybe about this size. Also, you can use a firm pillow. So maybe if you have a side pillow that's nice and firm. So these are all tools. And then the last thing that you might want to find is a strap. Now a strap, and this particular one's a yoga strap, but you could use a belt, a longer belt, or you could use a sash off of an old robe, and you can even use an old necktie, particularly if you have a garish one that you don't really need anymore, but you want it to be colorful for your practice. So all of those items will help you in your practice tools to enable us to get the full benefit of each of the poses that we're going to do. Now today we're going to do some kneeling poses, meaning on our knees. So I'll show you some tips and tricks to protect your knees. But before we even start out, if you have the beach towel, you can use that to provide a little extra cushioning for your knees as well. So as we get ready to start today, we're going to start from face down position. So if you'll join me, once you've got everything set in your room, let's go ahead and come into the face down position. Good. So we'll stack our arms, and when we stack our arms, we'll put one right above the other and put our forehead down on top of the stacked arms. Good, just allow your legs to reach out behind. So you want to have a little bit of tension in the legs, meaning they're just not all floppy. That's a technical term. And you just allow your toes to reach away from your body and your forehead to just rest on your arms. Good, now the first few moments, just shut your eyes and allow yourself to start to tune in with that internal world. And that's your internal world. Let's leave outside the door the busyness of the days, as we said earlier, the things that have happened in the past or that will happen in the future. And let each breath bring you now into this moment so that you're aware of where you are and what you're feeling, without the need to do, go, or be anywhere else but right here today in your practice. Let's let go of those stressors and allow yourself today to feel, be present and aware, and fully participate mentally, physically in your practice. So let's find our breath as it flows in and out. Notice even here as we lay face down, you can feel the play of the breath through the rib cage as the ribs rise to meet the sky in your back. And then as you exhale, it's as if you settle into the earth, flowing downward. So just finding the rhythm and the flow of your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. Good. Now check in with the state of you right now, this moment in time. Maybe you start at your toes and work your way to the crown of your head. Look for places that need special nurturing, special attention. Maybe you worked extra hard in your yard this weekend, or maybe you have an old injury that you just want to take care of. Well, honor your body as you move through today's practice. You know, as the muscles begin to move in each pose, we kind of flow along a continuum where you've got to find challenge at some point without harm. The big thing is no harm, no sharp shooting pains ever in anything that you do, whether it's yoga or any other form of exercise. So it's okay for the body to be grumpy, but not hurting. Very nice. So as we get ready to come out of this, just give yourself a moment to think of your intention to practice today. Or for practice, let us think, I am flowing, I am strong. Today, I am focused. Very nice. So let us bring our hands to our shoulders, and we're going to press up to hands and knees. And as we press up to hands and knees, open your knees a little wider apart, and then just walk your hands forward. Now, you may be a little bit up off the floor in child's pose, Garbhadasana, child's pose, like I am, but I'm honoring my knees. So if you're able to sit further back on your heels, feel free to do that. If you're up higher, no worries, be there. But have your elbows off the mat. So this is extended child's pose, just meaning your arms are extended. So really reaching, reaching, reaching. Breathing in and breathing out. Very nice. Now lift up slightly by pushing into the mat. Good. Now bring your knees in. Good. So the knees are right under your hips. Walk your hands forward again with your arms nice and strong. And this is called puppy dog. Good, or melting heart sometimes. So puppy dog is like downward dog, only you're on your knees. So it's a variation of downward dog. Good, and as we start to begin our practice today, draw your shoulder blades up towards your tailbone, and then pull your tailbone down towards your knees. Notice how that opens up the front of your body, and draw your abdominals right up into your spine. So as you breathe in and breathe out, just give yourself a moment to be aware. Really push into the mat with your hands so that it feels like you're pushing away and that the stress of the pose is in the hands but not in the shoulders. Very, very nice. Good. So allow your elbows to come down. Good. And then take your right hand and touch your left shoulder. Left hand, touch your right shoulder. Good. And then just press back and bring your forehead to the front of your hand. The cross of your hands, perhaps, is a better way to put it. So pause here. Good, and your bottom goes back a little bit closer to your heels. Good, and then come down and then just switch the hands. Good, so a different hand is in front. Pause there, press back through the elbows. Very nice, drop your tailbone down. Excellent. And then come back to the center, release the hands down, and then let's bring our hands under our shoulders. Good, as our hands are under our shoulders, knees under our hips, let's push into the mat with the hands and imagine a scared cat, a Halloween cat. Round your back up to the sky. Look back at your knees. Feel the space in between your shoulder blades start to open wide. You can really feel the muscles start to open across your back, so cat pose. Good, now keep pushing into the mat, but draw your tailbone away from your head and then drop it down. Good, and think figurehead on a ship. You've all seen an old sailing ship that had a mermaid or a pirate on the front of the ship. Good, so think figurehead. Lead with your heart or the area right at the sternum or breastbone. Good, and then again, round your back like a cat. Push into the mat, make your back a dome. Feel all of the muscles lengthen in the back of your body. Good, and one more time, pull forward, figurehead. Good, looking forward, pulling your tailbone down. Excellent, now come to the center, and neutral's just halfway in between. Push your hips to the left and look over your right shoulder like you're trying to see your little toe. So look all the way to the side. As you push your hips to the side, you feel the side of your body start to wake up. Good, and then shift to the other side. Good, and you're looking back towards that little toe. Good, come back to the center. Now let's round our back like a cat. Round, 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 push into the floor. Good, come to neutral, press your hips to the left, look at your little toe right. Good, come back to the center, go the other way. Waking up the lateral sides of your body. Come to the center. Good, and figurehead. Pull your torso forward. Very nice. Now pause right here. Excellent. Now, step your left foot back. Just touch the toe. Now, when you do that, take care that you don't shift your hips to the right. Stay centered. Now, the other thing you want to think about is when you lift that leg up, that you do not lift your hip up. So what does that look like? Lifting the leg up looks like this. The back of my pelvis stays flat. Now, if you lift up like so, that's obviously not flat. So stay flat. Good. Touch the toe down. Bring the knee down. Now step back the other leg. Same thing. Touch the toe. Good. Now same thing. Lift up the leg. Flex the foot that's in the air. Good. Now remember, if you lift up this way, it's too much. Come back down. Good. And let the foot come down. And the knee comes down. Good. Now let's step that left foot back again, the first one we started with. And lift up the opposite arm. So lift the opposite arm up. Draw your shoulder back so that up, elevate your heart. And then float the leg up. Spinal balance. So here, breathe. Now if you feel wobbly, maybe your knee is too much in the center of the mat. Good. Bring your arm out to the side and bend the elbow. Bend the back knee. Push your foot up. Lift your arm up. Think cactus arm. Good. Hand comes down. Knee comes down. Round your back like a cat. Good. Figurehead. Beautiful. Come back to normal and touch the opposite foot back. Good. Now lift left arm. Float the right leg up. Good. Pause here. Find spinal balance. Now remember, if you feel wobbly, the supporting knee may be in the center of the body. Move it out to the left side a little bit. Good. Bend your elbow, cactus arm. Bend your knee. Push your knee up. Good. Pause. Every time we change the length of a lever, an arm, or a leg, it makes a difference in our balance. Good. Bring the hand down and the knee down. Beautiful. Cat pose. Round your back like a cat. Good. Pull your torso forward. Figurehead. Good. Press to the left. Look at the right little toe. Same thing on the other side. Wonderful. Now we're ready for some poses called gate poses, and I'm going to change positions. Now, if you find you need a little extra cushioning, you can take your mat and draw the edge of it back and put your knees on top of that. Or you can use that beach towel that we spoke about. Good. Now, on that beach towel, again, just put it beneath your knees. Good. So first we start in Ardha Tadasana, which is half of mountain pose. We're on our knee. Float your shoulders back and down. Lift through your heart. Good. And then just think about shoulders, hips, and knees being in alignment. Maybe you shut your eyes for a moment and just feel the strength of the mountain. Good. So half mountain pose. Inhaling and exhaling. So think, lift the muscles of the thighs up into your hips. Drop your tailbone down towards your knees. Then zip up all the muscles in the front of your body. Good, and pause right here. So half mountain pose. Good, so we have a mountain not quite as tall as Mount Rogers, but hey, or the Peaks of Otter, but we're a mountain here. Very nice. Very, very nice. So we pause. Good, breathe up to the sky and bring the hands down to your heart. And then flow the hands down to the mat for a moment. And this is just to help in the transition. So let us bring our right leg out to the side. Now when you bring the leg out to the side, line your big toe up with your knee. Walk your hands back and then flow back upright. Good, breathe up to the sky. Good, and exhale the hands down to your heart. So this is the beginning of gate pose, Parigasana. Think about your hips and press your hips forward. Good. As you press your hips forward, lift through your heart. Good. And first, just find steadiness here. Good. Put the sole of your foot down flat with your big toe pointing forward towards the front of the room. Good. Let's breathe up again. And then bring the arm down to the extended leg. The other arm is in the air. Now, first just lift through your sternum, lift your heart, and then think about the old-fashioned gates. Now, old-fashioned gates used to have metal pieces like so, and they just put a board across to lock the gate. So here, our gate is open. Good. To lock the gate here, we're just coming down, bringing the hand to the knee and reaching straight up. Now, push your hips a little bit forward. Good. Now, there's a double dynamic going on here. You're reaching down and you're reaching up. Good. Look down at the foot on the floor and reach out over your head towards the point where the ceiling and the wall meet. Keep pushing your hips forward as you breathe in and breathe out. Good. So gate pose, Parigasana. Wonderful. Now arm comes up. Other arm flows up and flow your hands to your heart. Good. Now walk the foot in. Good. And bring the foot directly under your knee, but still have your knee out to the side, kind of at an angle, so towards one of the corners in your room. This pose is called horse pose. So bring your hands down to the mat. So now all four limbs are on the floor. Start with the hands high. Now here we're going to have the hips over the back knee. So I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see that a little better. So the hips are over the back knee. Good, and the foot is out to the side. Good, the hands are in front. Good, and what we're going to do is just be here and then soften our elbows, working down. Now you may find that your yoga blocks, after a few moments, will allow you to bring your elbows to the blocks, in which case just put your hands together and just look at your wrists. So you're opening the space where the right leg joins into the pelvis. Good, so allow that spot to relax. Breathing in. So this might be a fine place for you to be. You may be up here with bent elbows. That's a fine place too. But suppose after a few moments you find that you have a little more mobility. Walk your hands over towards that foot. Come down on the elbow on the left. Maybe you bring the right hand to the outside of the foot. And then imagine you're going to put your head on the foot. So reach your head towards the ankle. Breathing in and breathing out. So you're just finding the steadiness of this movement. And again, this is horse pose. I think maybe they call it that because it reminds people of horses when they're trained to bow. Good. So we lift our head, slide the hand back from behind the foot, come back to the center hands. Very nice. Now walk that foot back. Good, and just stretch it back. Push your heel away from your body so your foot is flexed. Good, so you feel a big stretch in the back of the leg. Good, and relax that knee down. Well, guess what? We have the other side. So realign, knees back on the mat, the fold in your mat perhaps. Good, and let's bring the opposite leg out, the left leg. Walk your hands back and then flow upright. As you flow upright, bring it up to the sky. Good, bring your hands to your heart first. Now again, big toe points forward, sole of the foot down, lined up with your supporting knee. Good, in back, it helps if you don't tuck your toes under. You just press down the top of your foot, where your shoelaces would be if you had your shoe on. So press the top of the foot down in back. Good, now let's move into gate pose. So breathe up. Exhale, arm flows down. Lift through the side of your body. Press your hips forward. Good. Now again, remember the dynamic. We're reaching down and we're reaching up and away. So your arms are reaching in two directions. Now if you find this bothers you in some way, you can always put your hand behind your head. Good, you can put your hand on your hips. Same pose. Good. Pick whatever works for you. Look down at the foot and reach. Inhaling and exhaling and just finding the steadiness in your breath. Keep thinking about pushing your hips forward as you breathe in and out. Good, and there are a lot of variations of gate pose and different positions you can be in, but this is the one we choose today. Good. Now the top arm goes up, and we flow up. Both arms. Hands come to your heart. Good. Now soften that knee. Good. And then walk your foot in until the foot is underneath your knee. Good. So you wouldn't want your foot way back here so you're pitching forward into your knee. You always want the foot under your knee or a little bit ahead of it. Good. So horse pose. So inhale, breathe up, flow down to the mat. Remember, you might want your block, and I'm going to face you this time. You might want your block, again, when you work your way down to your elbows. So hands, good. And then now, again, we're going to open up this whole space right here where the thigh bone joins in with your pelvis. So pause here. Good. Once you're in position, make sure you're not sitting back, but right over the knee. Good. Take a big inhale and exhale, and perhaps you soften your elbows. Perhaps after a few moments you find you can put your elbows on the block. Good. Now give yourself time in each of these phases for the body to react and correspond, taking its time. Good. The body is going to open more the longer you're in the pose. Good. So notice where you feel tension in your body. I call it surface tension. It's areas where you feel like you're really clasping tight, holding tight. Then you may find, as you exhale, that you can let those go. You might be elbows on the mat. Now, once again, remember, you might be on hands, you might be on block, you might be on the mat. All same benefit in the pose. As long as you move a micrometer in the direction of the pose and you're trying, you're going to get the benefit. Now, in a few moments, you may notice that you can walk your hands over a little closer to that left foot. Good. Now, slide your hand behind. Now, again, that's an important part. Remember, we don't go over. Good. And we don't go over the knee. We just slide our hand behind our heel. Good. Slide our other hand on top. Good. And then let our head go towards the foot. And once again, take care that you didn't sit back in the pose, that you're still knee and foot balanced, and head flowing down towards that foot. So horse pose, breathing in and breathing out. Now notice and reflect on which side of the body went into this pose the easiest. Which side of the body resisted you the most? The side that resisted you the most is probably your dominant side. The muscles are more contracted. You use that side of the body more. In yoga tradition, the dominant side of the body is governed by the sun and strength and heat. The flexible side is governed by the moon and flexibility, fluidity, coolness. Interesting attributes describing the same thing. Different language for the same thing. Good. Now, let's move our hand out. Slide that other hand out from beneath. Good. You can stay there a moment, or you can bring your hands back to the center. So we pause right here, and then float the knee back down. Round your back like a cat. Good. Now, this time, we can come into child's pose. Open the knees wide as a release for our poses. Just walk your arms forward. Pause right there. Breathing in and breathing out. Very, very, very nice. Child's pose is always a good pose to come to if you need a break or if you need to refocus in your class. Sometimes you just need to reposition. And so coming into child's pose gives you an opportunity to recollect and re-engage in your class. Very nice. Let's flow up. Walk your hands in. Now, if you had a flap in your mat, go ahead and release that. Good. And the next portion of our practice is back bending poses. And we will start the first one from our knees. Good. And it's called camel pose. So I'm going to turn sideways. Good. And in camel pose, or Ustrasana, it's like the one hump camel. So put your fingertips first on the crest of your hip. Good. Make sure your knees are right under your hips and your feet are flat and back. Good. Float your shoulders back and down. Good. And just allow your shoulders to drift down towards your tailbone. Good. Now this part of your body, project forward a little bit into your fingertips. Good. Very nice. So remember with back bends, you might choose to do one, none, or all. Good. And then let your shoulders come back upright. Good. Breathe up to the sky. And then float your hands to your heart. Lift up through your sternum, your chest. Drop your tailbone down and back. Good. This time just press the hips forward and hinge back. Perhaps you look up. Perhaps you just shut your eyes. Breathing in and breathing out. So Ustrasana, camel pose. Good, and flow back upright again. Good, now this time we're going to windmill our hands back so that they land right here on the back of our thighs. So on a big inhale, float back, hand on the back of the thigh, float back, hand on the back of the thigh. Now here, really project your heart forward, your hips forward. Let your hands touch the backs of your thighs. If you have no issues with your neck, you can allow your head to relax back. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, never judge yourself by your neighbor, your children, or anyone else. Listen to your body. Besides, children are incredibly flexible, and so do not compare yourself to their flexibility. It's disheartening, and we're being positive during our practice today. So actually, it's envious for me. Good, breathing in and breathing out. Good, now let the head come up, and then float your arm up, and hands come to your heart. Good, now, hands come down to the mat again, taking your time. Here's that cat stretch again, round your back like a cat. Good, pull your torso forward, figurehead on a ship. Good, press your hips to one side. Good, and to the other side. Very nice. One more time with the cat. And one more time with the figurehead. Wonderful. Very, very, very nice. Now, let us go ahead and, I'm going to face you this time, open your knees wide. So one more stretch here. And this is called threading the needle. So as we thread the needle, we're going to reach out with our left hand. Turn our right arm under and go under your armpit. Now right here you can put your shoulder and your head on the mat, or you can lay your head on a block. Either one of those are fine. And again, this is called threading the needle. Good. You just allow that whole right shoulder to be under the armpit or touch the mat, either one. And if it's not touching, remember that's okay. In this pose, you bear the weight of the pose in the extended left hand. Nice and steady breath. Good. Now inhale, flow up. Switch the hand forward. Good. Now, other arm, left arm, reaches under. And you may find that the pose is a little bit different from right to left. One side might easily go down to the mat and rest. The other side might fight you. But remember, we don't get in any fights in yoga. We just go, Notice where you're feeling that sensation. And sometimes it's frustrating sensation. So here we just want to let that go so that we can be in the practice and get the benefits of it without fighting it. Good. Very nice. Now push down with that supporting hand, slide the hand back up. Good. Now one more thing, face down. We come. So here we are face down on the mat. Good. As we're face down, good. Let us walk that left arm over to the side, and then walk our right arm over to the side, and then just relax your head down on your arms. Good. Just literally let your chin rest on the forward arm. Now, this also opens up the back of the shoulder area, just like threading the needle did. Good. Let's stretch that arm forward. Other arm forward. Switch the arm in front and switch the arm in front. Relax your head down again. Very, very nice. Now lift your head up. Arms come out. going to turn sideways on our mat for our finishing poses. So on this next one, you're going to turn onto your left side. Top leg, good, which is our left leg, and we're going to slide it forward. The bottom leg just kind of bends back, so a big stretch. Good, the arm that's in the air, turn it towards the wall behind you, and just let the back of the hand come to your back and slide down towards the mat. Think waterfall. Good, and here just allow that top shoulder to roll back a little bit as you breathe in and breathe out. Now, if this is stressful for the front knee, you can put the block beneath your knee or the pillow or the beach towel, whatever you have at hand that can be supportive. Very, very, very nice. Good, now slide the bottom knee towards the extended leg and then bend that knee. Reach forward with the back top arm. So I just see how I just move that arm to the front. Collect your ankle, draw it in close to your hip. Good, and pause right there. You can take your hand and gently place it against the knee itself. Curl the bottom foot up towards your bottom. That would be your sitting bottom. Very nice. Now as we pause right here, float that leg out, float the other leg out. Bring your top hand in front of your body. Use both hands to help yourself up. Good. As you come upright, good. Just recenter on your mat. Good. Hands on your thighs. Now walk your fingertips forward and then just let your body curl forward. So let your shoulders flow forward before we go to the opposite side. And here, let your tailbone ground you as you round forward. Good. Just let your legs relax right here. So in yin yoga, this is called caterpillar. Good. So notice how it feels as if the muscles over the ribs and back are just lengthening. Good. And then we grow upright, stack one vertebrae above the other. And then we're going to come down on the opposite side. Good. So stretch the legs out. Good. Now our left side is down, and we're stretching out that arm. Good. Arm in front. Good. Now stretch that top leg forward, bottom leg straight out. And then bend the foot back towards your seat. Good. Now you're on the inside edge of the extended leg, breathing the other arm up to the sky. Turn the arm towards the wall behind you, and just let the arm relax down your back. You can actually shift a little bit back with that arm. Good. And here, just let the leg be extended so you feel the lengthening. After a moment, you may find that you can move the foot a little further forward. Good. And here, just allow your fingers on your right hand to just relax down towards the mat. Good, and when you have those times when the mind is still, just allow yourself to have almost like white noise. It's just quietness. Find stillness in every pose. Very, very nice. Now relax the knee of the top leg. Good. Walk that foot in. Reach up and over. Collect your ankle. Slide it in closer. Good. And perhaps you roll back a little bit. You can hold the ankle if you like. But the easiest thing to do is just put your hand on the inside of the knee. Very, very nice. And then relax that. Good. Once again, just bring the leg on top of the other leg and pause here for a moment. Perhaps you take a moment to send a positive thought to the very first person who pops into your mind. You think of them first because they need that note of encouragement from you. That's why you thought of them. Very nice. Now let's use the top hand to help us up to seated position. So as we come up to seated position, use both hands. Good. Good. And as you come into whatever seated position is comfortable for you, you always have that wardrobe adjustment. Good. But find a place where you can be still for a few moments in this position. Now we're going to finish off with a little bit of what's called alternate nostril breathing. What does that mean? Well, let's take our right hand. Take your right hand, and you're going to use your thumb and your first finger. So you're going to shut off one nostril and then the other one. So what will happen is you'll inhale in on one side, and then you'll exhale out on the same side. So just for practice right now, shut off the right side of your nose, inhale in with your left side, and exhale out, same side. Now put the thumb there. Same thing on the opposite side. Inhale in. Exhale out, same side. And shut that side off. Open. And change sides. Let's do 2 more times. Now still keeping your eyes shut, just bring your hands to your knees and just breathe equally through each nose, each side of your nose. Now as your breath starts to flow back to normal, just allow the palms to turn up on your knees. And let the breath flow back to normal. May we be safe from inner and outer harm. May our hearts be open and loving. May our minds be clear and questioning. May our bodies be healthy and well. May we walk the path of life in peace, joy, and contentment all of our days. And then slowly open your eyes, either with the hands on the knees or hands at heart center in the Anjali Mudra, or respect hands. We seal today's practice. That little light that shines from within each of us, that light that makes us unique, that light that is us. We come together and we share that and magnify our practice and our joining together as community. Thank you for letting me lead your practice of yoga today. Namaste.